Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be coming at you with my July wrap-up. So the month of July was pretty good for me. I read a total of 7 books. Quite a few of these were audiobooks and some of them were like children's books, so that's pretty much how I read 7, but still a pretty good reading month for me. So let's just dive right into what I read this month. The first book that I read is The Lying Game by Ruth Ware, and I received this copy from a publishing company for review. So I'm going to give you kind of a brief overview of it. I have read Ruth Ware in the past, and I wasn't like a huge fan of her other book, but I went into this one kind of hopeful that it would be better than the last book that I read by her. And this is basically about a group of friends who kind of come together when things are tough or when things start happening to each other, and it kind of goes back and forth between the past and the present, and something happens that kind of intertwines with their past. So all of the girls are brought back together later on and are kind of dealing with the situation that happened to them in the past, and you don't really find out too much about that until you get a little bit further into the book. But when they were kids, they basically came up with this game called The Lying Game. They would lie to friends and stuff when they were kids, and they had certain rules that they had to follow when they were lying about certain things, and they would compete with each other to see who could come up with the most outrageous story. So one of their secrets has kind of come up many years later. So like I said, they all meet together again and have to deal with their past. It was kind of a letdown for me. It was a little bit slow paced, and it took me a while to get through that. I just wasn't that impressed with it. It kind of, to me, sits along the same lines as the other novel that I read by her. Like, I think that both books, they both got 3 stars. I'm just not a huge fan of her writing style, and I don't think that this book will be for everyone. It has a good premise, and the plot line and the story has promise, but I think that she may have struggled with it a little bit, in my opinion. It's just too slow, and it took me, like I said, ages to finish it, at least like 2 weeks or more, and I really struggled with it, but I did finish it. And I am very happy that the publisher gave me an opportunity to read this, because it gave me another chance to visit this author's writing, and you know, I don't think that I'll ever pick up anything else by her. However, if you do enjoy kind of mystery thriller-ish novels, you may enjoy this, and if you did enjoy her first novel, this may be something that you will like. The next book that I read was an audiobook, and that is The Wolves in the Walls by Neil Gaiman. This is a children's book, and it was a fairly short audiobook, but I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I listened to another audiobook, and it was The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman, which I gave 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It was kind of like a spin-off of a fairy tale concept, and I really liked it. And it was like I was on a Neil Gaiman kick or something, because then I listened to M is for Magic by Neil Gaiman, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It was a little bit slower. It was a bunch of different like short stories and stuff, and some of them I liked more than others. Overall, I ended up disliking more than liking. Does that make sense? So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I listened to The Truth is a Cave in the Black Mountains by Neil Gaiman. I also gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I liked that there was orchestra music throughout. Made it very dramatic, and I liked that. But as far as the plot went and the story, it just wasn't really something that I enjoyed. Then I listened to the audiobook for The Witches by Roald Dahl, which I actually really enjoyed this one, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I've never read The Witches before, and the audiobook was really fun, and I really enjoyed listening to it. And the last book that I read for the month of July is My Favorite Thing is Monsters by Emile Ferris. I think I'm pronouncing that name right. This is a enormous graphic novel. The artwork in this is absolutely amazing. Hopefully that's picking up. And the main reason why I gave this 4 out of 5 stars instead of 5 stars was because the storyline wasn't like exactly what I expected it to be, but I really liked it, and I really liked looking through this book and just kind of picking apart this artwork, because this person can draw. It is so good. I was trying to find another page to show you that doesn't have boobs. I mean, they're all really good pages, but well, here's a page. So as you can see, the artwork is phenomenal, and they are coming out with a second one. I'm not sure when, but I know that this is going to be a series, if not like a duology. So I highly recommend this, especially if you like graphic novels. The artwork is fantastic and definitely worth reading and buying just for the artwork in itself. And the storyline, like I said, was not exactly what I expected, but it was still quite good. So those are all of the books that I read in the month of July. Please let me know in the comments below if you guys have read any of these and what your thoughts were on them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!